something's off. Like, really off. And people are finally starting to say what they've been thinking all along. When Meghan Markle first announced she was expecting, most people cheered. It was exciting. An American actress joining the royal family and starting a new chapter. But then, something strange happened. Photos and videos began making the rounds online. People noticed little things. A baby bump that looked different in every photo. A belly that seemed to fold when she bent down. And the constant cradling of her stomach. It wasn't just gentle or casual, it was dramatic, like she was performing. At first, these things felt like silly gossip. But as more and more people started pointing out the same odd moments, the questions started getting louder. What if Meghan wasn't really pregnant? What if the whole thing was a show? Now, let's be clear, using a surrogate is not a big deal anymore. Plenty of celebrities do it. No one blinks. But here's the thing, if you're using a surrogate and pretending you're pregnant, that's where people feel tricked. That's where the story changes from private family matters to public deception. And in Meghan's case, it wasn't just about having a baby. It was about how that baby was introduced to the world, the secrecy, the skipped royal traditions, the heavily edited photos. And now, some insiders are saying that someone connected to the situation might be ready to talk. This rumor isn't just living in shady forums or dark corners of the internet anymore. It's starting to show up in real conversations, in comments under mainstream posts, in YouTube videos, and even in interviews. People are remembering things that didn't make sense at the time, like how Meghan and Harry didn't do the traditional post-birth hospital photo with Archie, or how Buckingham Palace released a statement saying she was in labor when, in fact, the baby had already been born hours before. Why lie about that? Why add confusion? It wasn't just royal watchers scratching their heads. Even former palace staff started whispering behind closed doors. They couldn't figure out why certain choices were made, why certain photos were so tightly controlled, why there was such a rush to avoid normal public appearances. And Meghan and Harry weren't helping their case. Instead of calming the rumors, they stayed silent. And that silence, to a lot of people, felt louder than any denial. Then came the photos. People online began comparing pictures from different days. Some showed her belly looking huge, others made it look almost flat. Some angles looked natural, others, not so much. In one video, Meghan crouches down and her stomach seems to fold in half. Critics said it looked like she was wearing a strap-on bump. Fans said it was just the dress. But once you see that video, it's hard to unsee it. And let's talk about that bump for a second. Pregnant women usually carry differently. But Meghan's bump didn't just carry differently, it moved differently. It shifted, it bounced, it bent, and that got people asking, if she wasn't actually pregnant, who was? That's where the alleged surrogate comes in. Now, no one's confirmed anything, but the rumor going around is that someone involved behind the scenes, someone who might have been the actual surrogate, is done staying silent. Maybe she signed something, maybe she was paid to keep quiet. But according to online whispers, she's getting tired of the secret. And if that person really comes forward, this whole thing could explode. The internet doesn't wait for confirmation. Once people get a whiff of drama, they start digging. Old photos, screen grabs, archived videos. Reddit threads are filled with comparisons, timelines, and theories. One user pointed out that Meghan's bump sometimes sat high and sometimes low, within days of each other. Another noticed that her clothes always seemed to be the same shape, like the bump underneath never moved. Some even claimed to see the outline of straps beneath her dresses. And when her own family gets involved, that's when things get messier. Meghan's half-brother once posted a video mocking her with a fake belly. Her father's spoken out multiple times, dropping cryptic comments about her pregnancies. Her half-sister has hinted at secrets involving frozen eggs and medical procedures. Now, do they have proof? Not really. Are they trustworthy? Not necessarily. But in the world of social media, those comments add fuel to a fire that's already burning. Then came the so-called palace statement. A screenshot went viral, supposedly showing Kensington Palace confirming Meghan used a surrogate. But it was a fake. The grammar was off, the wording wasn't right, and the palace never posts things like that from personal residences. Still, for a moment, people believed it. It looked official. And that's all it took to spread like wildfire. People were ready to believe it because the trust had already been broken. What really changed the game, though, was Meghan's attempt to fight back with pictures. On her wedding anniversary, she posted a photo collage on Instagram. One of the images? An ultrasound. Another? A never-before-seen shot of her standing sideways, belly out. No caption, no explanation, just vibes. It was subtle but clear. She was saying, "See? I was really pregnant." Fans cheered, but skeptics looked closer. They said the bump didn't look right. They said the ultrasound didn't prove who carried the baby. To them, it wasn't evidence. It was bait. And then came the video, the one that really split the internet. Meghan dancing in a hospital gown, IV in her arm, clearly pregnant. She posted it to celebrate her daughter's birthday, saying she had danced to try and induce labor. It was cute. It was personal. It was raw. And it was exactly what her supporters needed to see. But for her critics, it was just more proof that she was acting. They zoomed in, they slowed it down, they asked where the hospital staff were, why there weren't more machines visible, and why her belly seemed to shift when she moved. Medical professionals later chimed in. One pointed out that she was wearing a contraction monitor. Another said that the IV placement was perfectly normal. But at that point, the facts didn't matter. The conspiracy had legs, and it wasn't slowing down. The truth is, once people start believing a lie, even the truth looks suspicious. Meghan and Harry built their brand on being real, on telling their story, on walking away from the royal family to live life on their own terms. But with that decision came a new level of scrutiny. If you leave the palace and ask people to follow your journey, they expect honesty. They expect to know when something's fake. And if people feel like they've been lied to, even once, they start questioning everything. The interviews, the documentaries, the books, the podcasts, the speeches. It all starts to feel like a story, not real life. And when that story starts to unravel, it hits hard. For Meghan, this rumor cuts deep because her pregnancies were meant to be a symbol of freedom, of healing, of stepping into a new identity. The black and white maternity portraits, the slow-motion videos, the poetic Instagram captions. It was all part of a bigger picture, one where she took control of her own narrative. But if even one piece of that narrative was staged, that changes everything. Because for millions of women, pregnancy isn't just a photo op. It's pain, it's joy, it's fear, it's hope, it's personal. And pretending to be pregnant, if that's what happened, feels like betrayal, especially from someone who has talked so openly about womanhood and motherhood. And then there's Harry. He left the palace to protect his family. He said he wouldn't let history repeat itself, that he would shield his wife and kids from the chaos of royal life. But now he's quiet. He hasn't said a word about the rumors. Some say he's protecting Meghan, others say he's trapped. But either way, the silence is loud. The Harry people loved. The rebel, the soldier, the guy who laughed at stuffy rules. He's hard to find right now. What's left is a man surrounded by contracts, cameras, and a non-stop spotlight. The deeper this story goes, the more it seems like no one's in control anymore. Every new video, every leaked comment, every shady post just keeps the rumor alive. People are asking, if this part of their life was fake, what else was? And that's the real damage, because once the trust is gone, everything becomes a question mark. There's still a chance to fix it, but not with lawyers, not with silence, not with more edited photos, with honesty, real answers, real proof. Not for the trolls, but for the people who supported them, for the fans who believed in their story. People don't need perfect. They just want real. But if Meghan and Harry wait too long, they might lose the only thing that still matters in the world of fame: connection. Because without that, everything else, fame, money, media, means nothing. In the end, it doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is whether the people watching believe it. And right now, that belief is hanging by a thread. And the internet, it never forgets. Even if the rumor fades for a while, it's just one trending topic away from being back on everyone's feed. The videos will resurface. The screenshots will make their rounds again. It's a cycle, and once you're caught in it, escaping isn't easy. Every move Meghan and Harry make from now on will be viewed through that same suspicious lens. Even innocent things might get twisted to fit the story people already believe. This isn't just about Meghan anymore. It's about how fast the world turns on people. 1 minute, you're everyone's favorite. The next, they're breaking down every second of your life. It's scary how quick things shift. And in this case, the shift didn't come from one big mistake. It came from silence, secrecy, and too many unanswered questions. People want to connect with stories that feel honest, but when things feel too polished or too controlled, they start to feel fake. And here's something nobody talks about enough. What if it's not true? What if Meghan really did carry both children, and all this noise is just people being cruel? That kind of false accusation can break someone down. Imagine being a new mom and hearing strangers say your child isn't yours. Imagine people calling your body a costume. Whether you like Meghan or not, that level of hate is hard to justify. And if the rumors are wrong, there's no fixing the damage they've already done. But if there is some truth to it, if things weren't as they seemed, then honesty is the only way forward. People will forgive almost anything if you just tell them the truth. They may be shocked, they may be upset, but at least they'll understand. What makes people angry isn't the act, it's the lie that follows. And right now, silence feels a lot like a lie. So maybe the real lesson here isn't about a fake bump or a royal secret. Maybe it's about trust. About what happens when the image you've built starts to crack. Meghan and Harry wanted control of their story, but now the story is controlling them. And until they face it head-on, the questions won't stop. The only way to end a rumor is with truth. No edits, no filters, just truth. And time's running out.